Good evening. She was struck by not one, but two vehicles, neither staying at the scene.
A woman is dead. Police are now trying to find the drivers that hit her last evening in Scarborough. CTV's Allison Hurst is live tonight at the scene of the incident. And Allison, you spoke with some of the first people on the scene.
We've been speaking with several witnesses. Yes, we spoke with one man who was there right as it happened, witnessed the entire thing, and another woman who was driving on Birchmount at the time and drove past a woman as she was walking northbound here on Birchmount Road. An SUV swerves to miss a person wearing dark-colored clothing, walking in a live lane of traffic.
So vehicles are trying to honk at the person, right, to move away from the street.
Surveillance footage shows multiple vehicles veering around the figure as they stroll northbound on Birchmount Road.
Suddenly, a vehicle from going northbound from St. Clair, unfortunately hit the person. It was a fatal hit because the lady flew over a couple of meters, I would say. And then another vehicle going southbound, run over the lady.
Lawrence Clementes and his partner call 911 and rush to the woman.
We started compression, chest compressions, until the EMS arrived.
The victim, a woman in her 20s, was pronounced dead on scene. Police say the two vehicles that struck her were traveling in opposite directions and did not remain.
One is described as a Ford white transit van that was last seen traveling northbound on Birchmount.
Police released this image of the suspect's van. You can see a white van in this surveillance footage several seconds after the figure leaves the frame. A white cargo van heading in the same direction.
The second vehicle involved is a black SUV traveling southbound on Birchmount.
According to this surveillance footage, it's almost 20 seconds for the first vehicle traveling southbound to appear. That vehicle is followed by what looks like a lighter colored SUV, and several seconds later, a dark colored SUV.
Our investigators believe the white transit van will have some kind of damage to the windshield area.
By morning, the police tape was down and the street reopened as investigators canvassed the area.
It was very traumatic because it's hard to believe that people are here that could hit somebody and just take off, So hopefully they find the people that did it.
Heart goes out to the family, and whoever's dealing with all that, because really tough situation, especially a young person.
For Clementes, it was a hard night.
It was very, very sad. It was a bad experience for us because we were really hoping for the person to survive. We did what we could, and that was it. It was really out of our hand.
Police have not released the woman's identity. And again, Toronto police are looking for two vehicles, a white cargo van, which they believe has damage to that front windshield, and a dark-colored SUV. Neither vehicle remained on scene. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. The suspect wanted in last month's hit and run on the campus of Toronto Metropolitan University is now in custody. 5 people were hurt on April 15th when a vehicle drove onto a pedestrian walkway. Investigators say 3 were hit directly by the car, 2 of them suffering serious injuries. 23-year-old Ryan Petroff was named the suspect. Yesterday, police arrested Petroff after a road rage incident near the 401 and Morningside. He's facing 24 charges, including attempted murder, sexual assault with a weapon, and assault causing bodily harm.
Also tonight, the Pope's first full day on the job. Scenes from Vatican City as the faithful weigh in on the choice. And Canada's Cardinals, fresh from the conclave, open up about the experience and their new leader. Here at home, Leafs fans are getting set for Game 3 tonight. The puck drops in just under an hour.
This is a live look from the CTV News chopper of the crowd gathering in Maple Leaf Square. Tonight's game's in Florida, but fans have been gathering to cheer on the team on the big screen. And CTV Sean Leathong is among those in the square tonight. Sean, looks like the fans are hyped.
This is the best place to be if you're not in South Florida, Nathan. Look around here. It's just a sea of blue and white, and things have been going incredible for the Toronto Maple Leafs in these playoffs. Not only are we in the second round, the team is up 2 games to none. And when you see all of these incredible Leaf fans, I might have found the best Leaf fan possible, at least the one who came from the farthest away.
Of all the fans donning blue and white, perhaps the one to travel farthest is Fiona Blake from Scotland. So why did she come this far?
I know that we've got what it takes. I know that that team can do it. We can do it.
Her faith already tested. This Anthony Stolarz fan even wears a bracelet with the injured goalie's number. But she's one of a number of fans who say this team is able to battle through any adversity.
It's a different team. When I watched last year the playoffs, I just felt like there wasn't really the grit, the determination. They were rushing forward. There didn't seem to be any strategic aim to what they were doing. This season, the whole season, it's been a much more calm and collected team.
The way we've responded every game has made me a lot more confident in this team, where before when we go down, we kind of like hang our heads and be sad about things, whereas like we're fighting back every time.
Showing that they won really kind of changed how I feel about the team and how I feel about them going into the rest of the series and the rest of the playoffs.
Nylander score! In Game 2, the Leafs showed poise, coming back to tie Florida twice and ultimately taking a 2-0 series lead. And as the players appear to have found another gear, fans say,
I think the coaching has something to do with it, for sure.
Maybe coaching?
I think it's all in the coaching.
In Florida this morning, players praised Coach Craig Berube's focus in the room.
You know, he's here to win. He's trying to put that on us. That it's nice to get win on one, but the job's not even close to finish.
While the captain said they have to be ready for their biggest test yet.
We're back on their home ice. They're going to be ready to go. They're a veteran team with a lot of experience.
And experiencing playoff hockey inside Scotiabank Arena, Fiona Blake says the success of this team is evident through the volume of fans.
I have been to a lot of games in that arena. I have never heard it so loud. My voice is struggling a little bit. I'm going to give it a rest and use my whistle and my cowbell tonight when I watch the game over in the square.
So we're over in the square now, and the one thing I want to know, who is going to win tonight?
Yeah, let's go, Leafs! Go, Leafs, go!
Who's going to win?
Leafs! Leafs are going to win! Let's go, boys! Let's go!
The crowd believes the Leafs will win tonight, and they've got good reason to. Up 2-0 in the series. The biggest test will be tonight in South Florida. The best place to be will be right here. Reporting live, I'm Sean Lee Thong. I'll send it back inside.
All right, thank you, Sean. And not far from Scotiabank Arena, we take a live look at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, where fans have been streaming in for tonight's Game 2 in the Toronto Septorters playoff series against the Minnesota Frost.
The Septors took Game 1 of the series on Wednesday, and fans are hoping they can take a 2-0 series lead tonight. Following the Leafs' footsteps, we head to our Mike Walker, who's live outside the Coliseum with the latest. What a fabulous Friday in the city. How are fans there feeling going into Game 2?
Well, Michelle and Nathan, fans are feeling pretty optimistic. They are pumped for Game 2. The Septors are looking to build on that momentum from Game 1. And this afternoon, the PWHL announcing that it has suspended one of the key players for Minnesota for an illegal hit in Game 1.
A quick morning practice for the Toronto Septors, looking to take a commanding lead in the best-of-5 series with the Minnesota Frost.
Let's go, Tio!
Outside the Coliseum, fans are buzzing.
I'm excited to see them play. I think we're going to get the dub.
The Leafs have won 2 in a row down the street, so we're expecting another Game 2 win tonight from the Septors.
Gosling comes in. Step up, shoot, she scores!
Rookie Julia Gosling leading the Septors to victory in Game 1, scoring twice in the second period, including the game-winning goal. Toronto now looking to continue that momentum.
We know every night's going to be a battle, and we're just taking it one game at a time.
A game the Septors dominated, outshooting Minnesota, one the players believe was their best of the season.
Probably the most consistent game that we've played all season, really committing to things and playing the right way.
All the work that we've been putting in this whole season has started to, mesh together.
If Toronto can win again on home ice tonight, the defending Walter Cup champions will be on the brink of elimination.
I think there was just a couple mental errors that we made, and that kind of cost us, but it showed that we're never really out of a game.
The Frost will be without key forward Britta Kurosaleme. For this illegal hit to the head of Septors forward Renata Fass, the PWHL ruling the contact to the head was avoidable.
I mean, obviously you don't want to see anyone on your team take one of those hits. I don't think there was a malicious intent behind it. Sometimes that stuff happens just with the pace of the game.
This series is a rematch from last year, and while the Septors don't see this as a revenge series, fans are eager for redemption.
I really hope we win the playoffs.
We blew our chance last year, so I think we're going to make good on it this year.
4-1.
They're going to dominate.
Yeah.
Hoping after the final whistle tonight, the Septors will be one win away from advancing to the finals.
And tonight's game will be the 7th playoff game between Toronto and Minnesota since this league launched a year ago. Puck drops in less than an hour from now. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Nathan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Mike. Well, time now for check on the forecast. Here's a live shot of the city. Temperatures will dip down tonight, so bear that in mind. But lots of sunshine is expected this weekend. And if you have plans for Mother's Day, good news, Mother Nature is cooperating. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the current conditions with the wonderful locations for this weekend. Lindsay.
Yeah, Nathan, this is not Holland. This is Hampton, Ontario, which is just north of Oshawa. And check out this scene. We are here in the tulip fields. It is the Tulip Festival here at Pingles Farm and Market. More than 500,000 tulip bulbs were planted, and now look at them. They are blooming, and people are invited to come on out, take a photo, go for a stroll, and soak up the sunshine. We're going to have a lot of it over this weekend as well. And these flowers, there's actually an area where you can go pick your own, make a bouquet, and wouldn't that be perfect for Mother's Day? You know what else is looking pretty perfect for Mother's Day? The weather. And we'll get to your forecast. But first, let's talk about the current weather conditions. And on the satellite and radar, it is worth mentioning that we've got all that sunshine out there. It is lovely. Just a few clouds inching their way into eastern sections of our province. Temperature-wise, this is probably the one part of the story that's worth mentioning, and that's the fact that we are a little below seasonal. It is cool, especially on the islands compared to Pearson. And in other parts of southern Ontario, that temperature is going to fall tonight close to freezing. Overnight for us in Toronto, forecast low 5-6 degrees. There is a frost advisory in place for some areas too. We're going to talk all about it live from Pingles here on CTV News at 6. For now, Nathan and Michelle, back inside to you.
Well, still ahead, unemployment rises in Canada. We'll tell you where the jobless rate clocked out in April and what's at play right now in the labor market.
I invite you to recognize the marvels that the Lord has done, the blessings that the Lord continues to pour out upon all of us.
The new Pope presided over Mass this morning, his first time speaking publicly in his native tongue of English since his election yesterday. CTV's Genevieve Beauchemin has more on how Canada's Cardinals are embracing their new leader.
Pope Leo XIV led the first full Mass of his papacy. And the first American Pope began his homily in English.
You have called me to carry that cross and to be blessed with that mission.
This after speaking Italian and Spanish when he was first introduced to the world at St. Peter's Square yesterday.
We pray together, we share, we walk together, we have coffee and donuts and good Italian pastries.
Quebec Cardinal Gérard Lacroix says he has spent some time with the new Pope and that he has the qualities needed to unite the Church and speak to the world.
You get to see who this man is. You see how he is with others. He talks with everybody.
But pilgrims and tourists milling about on St. Peter's Square were abuzz with news of Leo XIV's nationality today.
I think the fact that he's the first American Pope is very exciting, and I hope that the Italians feel the same way.
Not all do, and many analysts had concluded a U.S. pontiff from a military and economic superpower was unthinkable. But Canadian cardinals say he is a universal man who has worked as a missionary in Peru, lived in Rome, and traveled the world.
I don't think anyone really thought of him as an American.
Cardinal Thomas Collins is the retired Archbishop of Toronto.
I don't think anyone thought. The person I'm voting for who is an American.
This was Cardinal Collins' second conclave, 24 hours and 21 minutes. That's how long the cardinals were secluded. A time of deep reflection, say Canada's cardinals, who felt the weight of responsibility as they voted in the Sistine Chapel.
A ritual that is steeped deep in history, and yet has a great significance for people today.
The inaugural Mass in honor of the new Pope is expected to take place on March 18th here at St. Peter's Square. That's expected to be packed once again.
Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Vatican City.
And here at home, local Catholics are celebrating the choice of Pope Leo XIV.
The new pontiff has visited our area on at least 2 occasions in the past. CTV's John Musselman reports.
At St. Leo Catholic School in Etobicoke, no surprise, staff and students are excited and proud of the Pope's chosen name.
We were actually watching it live. A lot of our classes were watching it live yesterday. And as soon as we found out the name that the Pope chose, we announced it all over the PA, and there was definitely a big buzz around the school about hearing this great news.
These first graders have no complaints either.
My name is Leo Zed.
And what's your name?
My name is Leo Kotze.
And what's your name?
My name is Leo K8. Well, I like that he has the same name as me.
You feel proud about that?
Yeah, I feel really proud about that.
I think this is a great news. The children will be able to connect better with the names. As you know, this is all visual and helpful to have, and we're excited.
St. Leo's Church is right next door to the school. They held a special mass today in honor of the new Pope.
It's a blessing. Now everybody wants to come to St. Leo, right? Yeah, so it's a good thing. We just hope that he is strong enough to stand for his beliefs.
I'm very happy, very happy.
Why?
Because he's a special people.
Meanwhile, at Villanova College School in King City, north of the city, staff and students are also celebrating a connection with Pope Leo. He visited the school back in 2000 and again in 2010 as prior provincial of the Midwest province. The school says Pope Leo's life of missionary work reflects the values the school honors, including faith, service, and unity. John Musselman, CTV News.
The city of Chicago is only too happy to lay claim to the new pope. So too are its baseball teams. But Leo XIV's brother says the new pontiff is a true fan of only one.
I read that he's a Cubs fan.
That's not true.
That's not true. He's not a Cubs fan.
That's not
What
true.
is he?
He's a Sox fan.
The Chicago Cubs initially claimed the Pope as one of their own, even posting on their iconic Wrigley Field board, "Hey, Chicago, he's a Cubs fan." After his brother set the record straight there, the White Sox posted on their own board, "Hey, Chicago, he's a Sox fan."
One of the country's most wanted fugitives has been arrested south of the border after nearly 4 years on the run. Back in 2018, Toronto police arrested Kamar Cunningham as part of Project Patton. It was a 9-month investigation targeting the trafficking of guns by the Five Points General Street Gang. It involved more than 800 officers and resulted in 75 arrests and the seizure of 78 guns. Cunningham was convicted of multiple offenses in 2020, but didn't show up for sentencing, earning him the number 4 spot on the BOLO program's most wanted list. Police say the now 43-year-old was taken into custody by U.S. Marshals in Atlanta earlier this week and is being held pending extradition.
A judge has ruled the Crown can continue its cross-examination of Toronto City Councillor Michael Thompson in his sexual assault trial. Thompson's defense attorney, Leora Shemesh, had said she was considering a mistrial application after the Crown referred to a witness as a victim. Crown attorney Marika Newhouse said she had misspoken and clarified her line of questioning. The judge ruled the trial can proceed later this month. Thompson is a longtime city councillor and former deputy mayor. He stands accused of sexually assaulting 2 women at a cottage over the Canada Day long weekend in 2022. He denies the allegations.
And in London, cross-examination continued in the sexual assault trial of 5 former World Junior hockey players. A lawyer for one of the accused suggested there were inaccuracies in the complainant's accounts of what took place that evening at a bar before the alleged incident at a London hotel. The woman, identified only as EM because of a publication ban, said it was not fair to expect her to have a complete recollection of every single second of the night. All 5 players accused have pleaded not guilty. The latest job numbers have shown an impact on manufacturing as U.S. tariffs begin to take their toll on the Canadian labor market.
The April jobs report actually showed overall the economy added a small number of positions, but the unemployment rate went up to 6.9%. CTV's John Venevale-Rao reports.
Just a week after GM announced more than 700 workers will be laid off at this auto plant in Oshawa, Ontario, another ominous sign that Trump's tariffs are taking a bite. With the latest jobs report showing the country lost 31,000 manufacturing jobs in April, the bulk of them in Ontario.
I really think the blame for this negative number today rests squarely on one set of shoulders, and that's the U.S. president.
In a month where another big automaker, Stellantis, temporarily shut down a plant in Windsor, Ontario for 2 weeks because of U.S. tariffs on imported vehicles, unemployment in Windsor shot up in April to 10.7%, in an area where the auto sector accounts for 4 out of every 10 manufacturing jobs. Nationally, the economy added a better-than-expected 7,000 jobs, though most of it related to temporary hiring during the federal election.
Without that, we would have had a big decline in general employment in Canada, especially led by the manufacturing sector.
With tariffs imposed on cars, steel, aluminum, and other products, the Bank of Canada has warned growth could slow as exports drop, prices rise, and jobs are lost. Overall, in April, the unemployment rate went up from 6.7 to 6.9%.
I don't see any way we don't hit 7% next month. Like, could we touch 7.5 by the end of the summer? It's possible.
Meanwhile, the rise in the unemployment rate makes it more likely the Bank of Canada will further cut interest rates next month in an effort to boost the economy. John Benavalli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Jobs and the economy will be key challenges for the new Prime Minister, and next Tuesday we'll find out who Mark Carney will rely on to help him address those issues, among many others. The PM's new cabinet will be sworn in at Rideau Hall during a ceremony that begins at 10:30 a.m. The ministers will then have to have 2 weeks to secure staff and determine their priorities before Parliament returns. The Prime Minister's current cabinet was named shortly after he won the Liberal leadership in March. It's smaller than Justin Trudeau's last team, but like his predecessor, Carney's committed to gender parity on the front bench. The House of Commons will be recalled on May 26th, with King Charles delivering the speech from the throne the next day.
Meanwhile, the NDP says it is in very early discussions with the Prime Minister about being granted official party status. The New Democrats were reduced to 7 seats in the election, 5 shy of what is needed for official party status. Without it, there are no financial resources provided by Parliament. Today, interim leader Don Davies said the NDP is actively working to try to make sure it gets those resources. He says they are needed to advocate effectively for Canadians who vote for the party. The Prime Minister's office declined to comment on any discussions with the New Democrats.
Coming up, new hope for people with ALS, a made-in-Canada ultrasound helmet that may protect the brain during treatment and improve symptoms. The groundbreaking study just ahead.
Well, no need for the umbrella this weekend unless it's for shade. We have gorgeous sunshine in the forecast for both Saturday and Sunday. Here's tomorrow at a glance. And if you're hoping to get out and enjoy perhaps the cherry blossoms this weekend, it's a good one to do it. They're not going to be at peak quite for too much longer. So enjoy the conditions with temperatures in the 20s. Here's a glance at your Mother's Day forecast. I think Mom's going to be pretty happy about this. Wall-to-wall sunshine. It's going to be a little cooler Sunday, much like it is today, but quite lovely. We are live here at Pingles. We are enjoying the Tulip Festival, and we're going to have a full look at your weather forecast coming up. Also, stay with us. We have another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
Lindsay Morrison is our resident ray of sunshine. So how fitting this evening that we find her amid a field of tulips. It's so picturesque. She best be taking pictures there today.
It really is perfect, especially during the month of May. Lindsay.
It's lovely, Nathan and Michelle. I can't think of a better outdoor activity in these early weeks of May to get outside, enjoy the weather, and maybe pick a bouquet. Michelle, this one's for you. Happy Mother's Day. Look how gorgeous that is. And that's one of the things you can do here at the Tulip Festival. Come on down, pick your own tulips and bouquet. And of course, as you mentioned, take many different photos. I'm here with Jordan Mackay, who is one of the owners here at Pingles. Thanks for having us out.
Welcome to Pingles. It's great to have you guys here.
So we were talking about how, we have fields and thousands of tulips here. You guys planted these. How many again?
530,000 bulbs we planted last November, and they came straight from the Netherlands.
Wow.
We're on 5 acres, and it does look beautiful.
And is this a pretty weather-dependent flower? What were you hoping to happen here? Did it all pan out the way you wanted?
It's our first year planting tulips. We're really happy. They came up very evenly. Weather-wise, we're a little bit late. As we know, April was a little slow to warm up, so we are about 10 days later than usual, but really happy with the result.
I think it's going to work out because we have a beautiful looking weather forecast for this weekend and for the weekend after that. And you're inviting people to come on down over the next 2 weeks here.
Yes, we are. We are open Thursday through Sunday for Mother's Day weekend. Next weekend, we're open Thursday through the holiday Monday. Really encouraging people to pre-purchase your tickets online to guarantee entry to the farm. We are expecting it to be very busy the next couple weekends because the weather looks beautiful.
Well, I'm hoping you can do a little demo for me of how someone might pick their own tulip when they come here. You've got these cute little baskets. What do we need to know?
Yeah, just pick your tulip,
okay.
Reach down, grab it below the leaves, give it a little snap, and then into the bag it goes.
Look at that.
So we have a great picking section here so you can pick all your own bouquets. And then we've got a nice section in the field for all the great photo stops, beautiful photos and memories.
Oh, well, that's where we are right now. And we're making wonderful memories in the sunshine. Thank you so much, Jordan. Let's get to your weather forecast. I want to talk about what's in store for the next couple of days here, beginning with worth mentioning that there is a frost advisory in effect for tonight. It doesn't include everyone in southern Ontario, much like last night, but it is worth mentioning, of course, as that temperature cools near freezing in some communities. Overnight tonight in the city of Toronto, we're expecting to drop to a low near about 5 degrees, but it is going to be cooler outside of the region. And then waking up tomorrow morning, temperatures will start to warm as that sun rises, which is now happening before 6 a.m. It's worth mentioning that. And we're going to soar into the 20s for a daytime high. Now, as we talk about all this sunny weather, we also have to talk about the UV rays. We are going to be high on the UV index for tomorrow, so slather on the sunscreen no matter where you're going. Even if it feels a little chilly early on, you need that sun protection. Tomorrow's highs, as mentioned, into the 20s for daytime highs. That is actually warmer than normal. Average temperature this time of year is around 18 degrees. So enjoy. We're going to be a little closer to seasonal or slightly below as we make our way into Sunday, which of course is Mother's Day. Let's take a look at the satellite and radar. We've been watching for a little bit of cloud cover approaching eastern sections of Ontario, all just thanks to a low pressure system that's been with us all week long. This has been a very slow moving one. We're not anticipating any wet weather here in the GTA. Might get a little bit of passing cloud early tomorrow morning. We'll set the forecast radar in motion to show you that other than that, there isn't a whole lot of active weather in the forecast, in the short range forecast, really at all. It'll be wall-to-wall sunshine for your Sunday. And then a good portion of early next week, too. If you're waiting for some wet weather, I know gardeners are. Maybe you want the lawn to be looking fresh and green. You have to wait until about Tuesday night and then into the day on Wednesday. It looks as though we're going to be a little unsettled. Keep the umbrella handy for Wednesday and for Thursday. But look at those temperatures. We remain on the mild side right through the middle part of next week. And I'm just going to remind you of the fact that next weekend is actually the May long weekend. And that's when many people start thinking about their lawns and their gardens. Jordan, I want to ask you another question about tulips. I don't have the greenest thumb, so if I want to see some tulips showing up in my yard or my garden, when do I need to be planting those bulbs?
You want to plant those in the fall, typically after Thanksgiving into early November, and put them to bed for the winter, and they should pop up in the spring.
Okay, well, that's great. I'm going to take that advice for sure. I'm going to enjoy these flowers as well, in addition to the ones for you, Michelle. But just remind us one more time, you're going to be open this weekend and people can come on down and enjoy a photo op?
Yes, we're going to be open all weekend for Mother's Day. We're going to be open next weekend, Thursday through Monday for the long weekend. Come down and see us. Check out our website to purchase your tickets and enjoy the weather while you can.
I'm enjoying the weather right now. You're watching CTV News. Stay with us. We will be back after this.
Hey there, Toronto. I'm Teddy Wilson.
And I'm Nicole Servinas, so welcome to Things to Know TO.
Welcome indeed. So each week our show shines a spotlight on some of the awesome businesses, services, initiatives, and events right here in our fantastic GTA community.
It's companies like these that make Toronto one of the world's greatest, most vibrant cities, and also a pretty great place to work, play, and live in.
Well said. So join us every Saturday on Things to Know TO.
And don't forget, you can catch all of our episodes on our website, thingstoknowto.ca.
It's a world-first study being conducted right here in Toronto, examining a new way to deliver medications into the brain for those battling ALS.
CTV's Avis Favreau gives us a look at this unique approach as the study gets underway.
Every step for Bill Traynor is a struggle, his muscles weakening from ALS. Devastating for a former scuba diver and skier. And with existing medications offering little hope, Bill now wants to help scientists change how ALS is treated as part of a world-first study.
I said, whatever you have, whatever you need, I'm there. Whatever you need to do to me, I'm there. I'll do anything to help people cure this.
This is a key, a made-in-Canada helmet that produces low-dose ultrasound. It passes through the skull and temporarily opens a protective membrane around the brain. That barrier usually stops medications from reaching brain tissue.
This is a very exciting day for the ALS community because for the first time ever, we're creating this temporary therapeutic window where our interventions have a chance of really making a difference in this awful disease.
The study begins with Bill getting an IV, a medication that reduces inflammation, often seen in ALS patients, but it doesn't naturally cross that brain barrier. Then doctors place him in the helmet. The ultrasound is activated, and doctors watch to see whether the medication flows to where it's needed.
It's tailored to the patient. Each location of the brain gets the right exposure. And that there's no other device that can do that.
Bill is the first of 6 ALS patients who are part of the study, as doctors watch to see if their brain inflammation lowers and their symptoms improve. Researchers at Toronto Sunnybrook Hospital are already working on the next focused ultrasound helmet that will be more portable, planning studies to see if it will help improve chemotherapy delivery for brain tumors and as a possible tool to treat Alzheimer's.
There's a lot of excitement going on because there's lots of brilliant new approaches. To me, the most exciting one is the focused ultrasound because you're breaking the blood-brain barrier.
Right there.
And the first test on Bill was a success.
And this area that is brighter is exactly the area that we disrupt the blood-brain barrier.
Scans showed the ultrasound helmet opened the correct targets, those white spots, and the medication was now likely flowing in. And while researchers monitor the effects in the coming months, Bill Traynor says this study has given him new purpose.
I knew there was no guarantee, but I didn't care. I have so much more to live for.
Avis Favreau, CTV News, Toronto.
After a recent study linked the shingles vaccine to a lower risk of developing dementia, as separate studies found the shot may also lower the risk of heart disease and stroke. Researchers in South Korea looked at data on more than 1.2 million people aged 50 and older. Those who'd been vaccinated for shingles were found to have a 23% lower risk of cardiovascular disease. The authors say in addition to a painful red rash, shingles can cause inflammation in blood vessels and lead to dangerous clots. The findings were most pronounced among men and people under 60. The findings were published this week in the European Heart Journal.
Virtual mental health services proved to be very successful during the pandemic.
And now there's new insight into the benefits of online therapy for kids who have autism and specific communications needs. As CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, it can be as successful as in-person visits.
In 2021, Adrienne Zaram noticed her then 10-year-old daughter Amira was dealing with some extreme fears, including heights and even screaming at the sight of certain cards in a board game.
I guess I had been really sensitive to certain fears that I have, when I was younger, that is. So, and I also wanted to see if I could combat them, because I guess the title sounded cool.
Amira was the right age and was aware of her autism diagnosis, so she was an ideal candidate for a program offered online during the pandemic called Facing Your Fears.
CBT stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and it's a modality of therapy that allows an individual to sort of use their thinking skills to sort of manage feelings of anxiety in this case.
Amira developed her CBT skills online with an instructor at Holland Bloorview. Some activities involve talking or using a workbook. Others
what we did is we made these little bugs out of clay, and they were supposed to represent our fears, right? And what we did is we just squished them. And so that was kind of like an exercise for all of us to, I guess, better visualize what we can do, like, about our fears.
The concern was that online therapy might not be as successful for young children, especially those dealing with sensory issues or other behavioral differences.
So we found that when we delivered the program virtually, we had almost identical outcomes to when we had run the study in person. So we saw significant decreases in children's report of their own feelings of anxiety, as well as the parents' report of their children's expressions of anxiety.
In addition, online therapy expands the reach to participants who are far away. 4 years after the program, Amira says she now enjoys rock climbing, and she can even face those game cards that for some reason she found so distressing before.
Facing Your Fears is no longer offered at Holland Bloorview after funding ran out, but families that get support through the Ontario Autism Program may be able to get it through mental health services. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Sunday isn't just Mother's Day. Runners across the GTA are getting ready for one of the city's biggest races of the year. An estimated 23,000 participants are lacing up their shoes for the 25th annual Sporting Life 10K. Police will be shutting down roadways along the routes as early as Sunday, and that could impact people traveling anywhere from Yonge and Lawrence to the finish line on the lakeshore. The event raises money for children's charity Campfire Circle.
The latest film from Marvel Studios looks to be heading into a second weekend at the top of the box office.
This has makings of teams that can raise to glory.
Deadline is forecasting Thunderbolts will bring in around $30 million US over the coming days. It tells the story of a team of anti-heroes led by a cast featuring Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, and David Harbour. Action horror flick Sinners is looking to hold on to second place, while ticket sales for a Minecraft movie could be enough to keep it in third.
After the break, getting the game onside. FIFA announces the Women's World Cup will add 16 teams in 2031 to match the number of men's teams competing.
It's hard to believe that people are here that could hit somebody and just take off, you know? So hopefully they find the people that did it.
Updating our top stories, a woman in her 20s is dead after being struck by not one but two vehicles in Scarborough last night. It happened on Birchmount. Security video shows the woman walking in a live lane of traffic as vehicles swerved to avoid her. Police say two vehicles traveling in opposite directions struck the woman. Neither remained on scene. Police have not identified the victim.
I think we expect a different type of game. I think Florida are going to bring it back. They've got their home crowd down there. However, having said that, there is a lot of Leafs folk going down. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of blue in that arena.
It's a big night for Toronto hockey fans. Leafs were in Florida looking to take a 3-game lead in their second-round series against the defending Stanley Cup champs, the Florida Panthers. And the Septorters are playing here at home, looking to take a second game of their series against the Minnesota Frost. The Septors won Game 1 on Wednesday.
For the first time ever, we're creating this temporary therapeutic window where our interventions have a chance of really making a difference in this awful disease.
And a new made-in-Canada approach being studied here in Toronto may offer new hope for ALS patients. This new helmet produces focused low-dose ultrasound, which opens the protective barrier around the brain, which doctors believe is stopping promising medications from reaching key areas of the brain. 6 patients are being studied at Sunnybrook Hospital. Researchers are already looking at ways to make the technology more portable.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos or video of breaking news, let us know.
One of the biggest airlines in the U.S. is buying into a Canadian carrier. B&M Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has the details.
Delta Airlines and Korean Air are both buying a stake in WestJet in a deal worth $550 million U.S. Onyx is the parent company of WestJet. It's selling a 15% stake to Delta and a 10% stake to Korea's largest carrier. Delta will then turn around and sell a small percentage of the Calgary-based business to its partners Air France and KLM. Air Canada is lowering its financial forecast for the year. It now expects adjusted earnings to hit between $3.2 and $3.4 billion, a drop of about $200 million. Air Canada is adjusting after a drop in demand for travel to the U.S. And Enbridge reported a first quarter profit of $2.3 billion. That's a $900 million improvement over its last Q1. The pipeline operator says it doesn't expect tariffs to have a material impact on its operations. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 71.77. West Texas Intermediate is up over $1 to 60.58. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up $1.60 to 50.39. And the TSX is up 103 points today to 25,357. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
There's some news to share with you this evening as the Hudson's Bay Company prepares to close its doors for good. The retailer entered creditor protection in March and has been liquidating its stores across the country while seeking potential buyers. A new court filing shows 17 bids have been received for parts of the business. Some of those offers are said to be focused on buying store locations, while others are looking to secure the rights to the Bay's brands and intellectual property. Canada's oldest company has until May 30th to seek court approval for any deals it might breach.
We heard earlier about the latest job figures from Stats Canada. Today, the city launched its annual effort to better understand the local employment picture across Toronto. It's called the Toronto Employment Survey. From now through the end of August, surveyors with city badges will stop by more than 73,000 businesses to gather information about business activity and employment trends across Toronto. This year's survey will include a new question on the potential impacts of international trade disruptions. The survey can also be completed online. Participation is voluntary, but the city says it'll use the findings to inform future planning and policy.
The Toronto Blue Jays kick off a 3-game series in Seattle tonight after avoiding a sweep.
And first pitch swinging, it's a base hit into left field.
The Jays snapped a 4-game losing streak with an 8-5 win over the Los Angeles Angels last night. Tonight, they take on the AL West leading Mariners. Kevin Gausman gets the start for Toronto. A Jays series in Seattle usually draws many Canadian fans from Vancouver and elsewhere north of the border, but those numbers are expected to be smaller this weekend, primarily because of the trade tensions with the U.S.
Sidney Crosby will once again lead Team Canada at the World Hockey Championship. Crosby has been a winner in international hockey at the Olympics, the World Cup, the Four Nations Face-Off, and his last World Championship appearance 10 years ago. Nathan McKinnon and Ryan O'Reilly will be alternate captains for this tournament that's taking place in Sweden and Denmark. Canada's first game is tomorrow against Slovenia.
FIFA has announced the number of teams competing at the Women's World Cup will be increased by 16. Starting in 2031, the tournament will be expanded from 32 to 48 teams. There will be a 12-group format, increasing the total number of matches from 64 to 104. That is the same as the expanded Men's World Cup next year. The women's tournament will also be extended by 1 week.
After the break, we'll introduce you to the newest and possibly one of the most adorable arrivals at the Nashville Zoo, a member of one of the smallest species of deer on the planet.
Tonight, a world first, a made-in-Canada tool to treat ALS.
Whatever you have, whatever you need, I'm there. Whatever you need to do to me, I'm there.
How a promising technology is delivering new hope to patients later on CTV National News.
And a reminder, the CTV News at 6 podcast is available as a download every weeknight. And a special Friday shout out to those of you listening to the newscast live on News Talk 1010.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Just in time for Mother's Day, a special delivery at the Nashville Zoo.
Look at this little fellow. It's a member of the smallest species of deer in the world. He is the first southern poodoo born at the zoo. The male fawn arrived April 28th and now weighs Listen to this, just under 2 pounds. Southern poodoos are listed as near threatened, with their population decreasing. The deer are native to southern Chile and southwestern Argentina.
So cute. Let's go back to Lindsay Morrison with one final look at the forecast. Lindsay.
It's a good-looking forecast, Nathan. We're here at Pingles. We've talked about the flowers, and now I just want to talk about the food. Jordan, tell us what people can enjoy this weekend.
Some of our featured items for this weekend are Dutch treats. We've got bitterballen, bratwurst sausage, and some mini pancakes.
Oh, it looks so good, and the weather looks so good too. Let's take one more look at what you can expect tonight. Any fans heading down to Maple Leaf Square, conditions are looking lovely for this evening. A reminder that we are under a frost advisory in some parts of southern Ontario. Weekend forecast looks absolutely fabulous. From all of us here live at Pingles tonight, should we all say it together? Happy Mother's Day? Yeah, happy Mother's Day. And Georgia, that is the best looking tulip in the entire field. Way to go. That's lovely. Say good night to everyone. Good night, Nathan and Michelle. We'll send it back inside to you.
Bye,
Good night, night.
Yay. Bye, Lindsay. Oh, so gorgeous there. That's it for us, but you can join Heather Wright tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zarada Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great week.